Bounce Gang.
Hey everybody, welcome to episode number 59 of Fresh Mondays podcast. It's your girl Diana and your girl Marley. Welcome back.
Welcome back. I like to give my weather updates every beginning of the show. And just so everyone knows, I have been snowed in for 3 days now.
Wow, 3 days. Cabin fever status at this point.
Yes, but shut-ups for Netflix and YouTube, things that keep you entertained, and books. But Seattle is facing a huge snow apocalypse, or snowmageddon, as they like to call it out here.
Wow.
It's just they don't usually get this amount of snow every year. Really,
right.
Exaggerating for other people.
I think it's interesting how it's becoming like you get less months in the winter, but when you get the winter, it's like worse, right?
Yes, that's exactly what I thought. The winter was almost over. It was so nice out here.
Yeah.
But winter never happened. I jinxed myself because this is happening for the rest of the week.
Wow, there you go. Well,
shout
hopefully
out to all the satellites.
By the time that this airs, the sun will be back out, you know?
Hopefully. So shout out to the Seattleites trying to push through all this snow and make it out there.
Yes, and shout out to our guests from our last episode number 58. We had Alex Pop. He was a really entertaining person to speak with. We really are excited for the book, right, Marley?
Yes, and I'm excited to hear more about his adventure of Romania, I believe is where he's going. And it sounds like he's going to the mountains of Romania. Right. Reminds me of very DR when the lights go out and you have to, deep in the country. That's all I can think of. That's
funny because you know what it reminded me of? You know that movie, I think it was called Secret Window?
Loved Johnny Depp in that movie.
Johnny Depp, there you go, right. And I don't know, for some reason I had a feeling of that's what writers do. You know what I mean? You guys go to these really quiet, secluded places to just get into the book and write. And I don't know, I guess it's the cliche that I expect writers to do. So I was like, that makes sense. You know
what I mean? What's that other writer's movie? Misery.
Ooh.
You remember that one?
Yeah, that's an old time classic.
That's a classic. See, look at this. Every show has started off with a movie out here, guys.
There's a trend. There's a trend. Yes. But it's the time of year. It's the time of year.
You're right. I think it is. It's the time of year for those movies, but the creative kind of aspect where you remove yourself from everything in order to make something happen that sounds beautiful, and it sounds like every creative should do that once in a while. So move away from whatever their natural setting is and find themselves in a new setting to find those creative juices.
That's really good advice. Sometimes you just need to get away from the distractions. You need to get away from the stimulants. You know what I mean? Because sometimes it's not necessarily bad distractions. It's just that you don't know how to say no to the good ones. So if you live in a place that you have a lot of great options all the time, or you have a lot of friends, or you're a party person and there's always a ladies' night going on, or a 2-for-1 special somewhere, you have to understand that you need to get away from that sometimes, because it's maybe you don't have the self-control to say no, So
yeah, that's why sometimes you need to, as my friend Jasmine would say, sit on ice. Sit your ass on ice at home, don't move, and recharge everything. Maybe if it's for a month, maybe just I haven't gone out all month, I haven't spent money all month, those kind of things, and recharge everything and start for new. So I like that.
I like that. I like that a lot. Thank you. Shout out to Jasmine for that one. I like that. The funny thing is that I say that when it's yo, he put that girl on ice. I say that all the time. It's he gave her just enough for her to stick around, but he ain't never gonna take her seriously. So it's aside from that, that was from our Messy Mondays days. But tonight we have an amazing guest, and we are so happy to welcome her in. Everybody, we're so excited to welcome Lona Sargent onto the Fresh Mondays podcast. Please introduce yourself to the entire world and tell everybody what you do.
Hello, my name is Lona Sargent, and I'm originally from Maine. So I live in South Florida now. I've lived here for 4 years. Right out of college, I moved down here, and I'm a personal trainer. I'm a fitness coach now, and I've built my brand in the past 2 years, and I love what I do. I wrote a #1 best-selling book. It's on Amazon, and yeah, I have a whole story. But when I first moved down here, it was not like this at all. I had a lot of challenges for the first 2 years, but I dug myself out, and so now I'm living the life of my dreams. So yeah.
Wow, that's so nice to hear. That's awesome. Well, welcome to our show.
Thank you for having me.
So Lana, correct? I want to make sure I pronounce it correctly. Tell us, how did you get started into the fitness life? How did you get started into that?
So I was always kind of into fitness. I was an athlete in college. I traveled all over the country. I went to Australia. You know, I was always into sport, so not so much just fitness. But when I moved down to Florida, I got into the partying lifestyle. I gained about 30 pounds, and
Wow.
yeah, sports wasn't really part of my life anymore. It was just drinking and partying and going out, and little by little, like my athletic body wasn't there anymore. So I was like, okay, something's got to change. So I got a personal trainer. That's where it kind of all started. And he started to get me back into shape and everything. And just kind of told me, you know, you should be a personal trainer. You love this stuff. You know, you love health and fitness, and you should do bodybuilding shows, because I was so interested in it, but I just never had the confidence to actually do it. But yeah, so I took after, I mean, it's a long story, but he did pass away. And after that, I kind of, I didn't have any confidence, but I wanted to do all the things that he said that I could do for him, you know, not so much for me, but for him. And so I created this whole life for myself. I created a business and became a personal trainer, both in person and online. And I absolutely love it. I do bikini competitions now. I've done 5. I'm nationally qualified, and it's just what I love to do. I love fitness. I love health. And I love the fact that, like, I was able to change my body and my life. And now I just want to help everyone else do the same thing and show them that they can do it.
Right. It's interesting that you mentioned the whole partying thing, because, you know, if you live in Miami for a while of your life, or you just move out here, like, that's all there is to do. Funny thing is, we were just discussing that a couple of minutes ago about how there's so much options out here to stay distracted. And there's so many options to, like, make bad decisions constantly out here. It's crazy. So it's like, it's hard for a person to understand and admit, like, hey, I'm partying too much. I'm drinking too much. You know what I'm saying? It's like, when did you notice that it was too much? Because I honestly, genuinely think that some people don't realize that it's too much.
Right. So I went through a pretty traumatic experience. For the first 2 years, like, I think I knew it was too much, you know, but I was always in denial, kind of like, you know, I live in South Florida, I'm young, like, this is just what people do, you know, but getting blacked out 4 to 5 times a week, like, that's not normal. That's not good.
No.
And then ending up in the hospital. I had overdosed, and I remember, like, the moment I was in the bathroom getting changed, getting out of the hospital stuff, and I just remember looking in the mirror and being like, who are you? Like, I was an athlete, like, my whole life.
Wow.
This is not, I just didn't even feel like I was me anymore. And it was that moment that I'm just like, this is not me. But it was about a month later that I lost my personal trainer. He had relapsed, and
oh wow.
Yeah, he was clean for a long time, but he relapsed, and I lost him, and it was like a switch went off in me, and I was like, you know what, I'm done with this life. And that's when I stopped drinking stopped drinking, stopped partying, stopped everything, just like that.
Right.
And
No, I mean, yeah.
That's major.
Yeah.
That's super major.
Yeah. It was like right when I stopped, like, that next day I went in and got a different coach to start competing for shows. And so it went from like no drinking, no partying, no nothing to being on this strict meal plan. And I didn't have a cheat meal for 4 months.
Wow. So yeah, it's like
And
when
it
you
was
do competitions, like the funny thing is we had someone earlier in the season discussing that they also compete. When you do those competitions, just can you briefly kind of walk us through what it takes to be at the point that you need to get to? Because it's a huge sacrifice.
it is. It's so much discipline. And, you know, that's where a lot of my discipline was built, was from competing. There's so many times that you don't feel like doing your cardio, or you don't want to eat this. You have so many temptations all the time, all around you. And, but you can't do what you feel like doing. That's what you learn through this. You got to do what you got to do. It doesn't matter if you feel like it or not. Like, that's not an option. You do it, or else you're not going to be able to stand up on stage in a bikini, you know, like, so
That's
it's just,
awesome. I think that's awesome because it's like now I can see how you've translated that into becoming a businesswoman. You got to do what you got to do. And like you went through this training. That's awesome.
I think it helped me a lot, actually. I didn't realize it at first, but like it was that, you know, building that discipline and doing what needs to be done no matter what. Like you just don't give yourself that option, you know, and so much gets done that way. It's like unreal.
And I think knowing that you have to be in front of hundreds of people on a bikini, like you have to be 100% prepared for what you're about to face when you step onto that stage, right?
Exactly. You don't want to get on stage and be thinking to yourself, like, I didn't really push it that hard. I could have done better, you know, because it's going to show. You're just not going to feel confident up there. And,
yeah, your confidence shines through on that stage as well.
For sure. Because especially in competing, it's all stage presence. So it's like when you're up there, like if you are feeling confident, you know, you gave it everything, like you just are out there, you're going to rock it. Like, and you can see that for the people who, you know, put in the work.
Right.
So
yeah, you can't fake the emotion, you know, like I get what you're saying. Like it comes
yeah.
through.
Definitely.
How many competitions have you completed?
So I've done five. And usually people will do like, the average is like 2 a year, but that first year that I started competing, I did 4 in 1 year. So I was on prep all year long.
You were going hard.
That's pure meal preps the whole year.
Oh God. I forgot what it felt like to like open up the cupboard and be like, what do I want to eat? Like I couldn't do that. It was like my meals were always planned out. Yeah. But I had to be that strict. Because I had to get out of that partying stage. I had to, you know, so it's like I needed to just be like all in, you know.
Right. And I mean, that's funny that you say that because we know that you're a certified holistic health coach as well. So is one of the reasons why you became a holistic health coach because you went through this process of having such a strict eating regimen and seeing the results you got from that?
I actually became a holistic health coach right before I started competing. So it actually helps though a lot because being a holistic health coach, it doesn't really just talk about nutrition, like as in food. It talks about primary food. So that goes from like relationships to your environment, spirituality, everything, overall wellness. So in the competition world, it does get kind of out of control. People get really obsessed and like really like just focusing on getting as small as they can. But I wanted to do it in like the healthiest way possible. You know, I didn't want to just let it get to my head and get like I mean, some people will get eating disorders from it. It's very common. It's hard. Like it's a hard sport. So I think this really helped me. It helped me to stay smart about it and try and stay as healthy as possible through the whole process.
And in that process, so you were saying people develop like kind of eating disorders. What would you suggest would be an easy step forward for a person wanting to start out and kind of in the world of bodybuilding or competition in some sense, or just eating healthy lifestyles? Like, what are some first steps that you would suggest for some?
I would say if we're talking just for someone wanting to start a healthier lifestyle, you know, I'd just say balance is the number one thing, and not to overwhelm yourself, you know, just start by creating good habits. Like, people struggle because they have all these bad habits that they've created, and it's hard to like start new ones, but just start small. You know, if you're someone who likes to eat late at night, that's one of your, you know, struggles. Just start small and just don't eat past 7. You know, just little things here and there. You just got to start creating good habits. But if we're talking for someone who wants to like go extreme and get into like competing, I would just say, listen to your body. There's a lot of times people overwork themselves and push through when it's like your body needs rest. Like, recovery and rest is super important. And people are just going to the extreme, and you're hurting yourself. Like, some people go so far, it's like you're decreasing the chance of having children, you know, like it messes with your hormones and everything. And it's like, you just got to be really careful. So
I never thought about that. I never put that together.
Well, I guess it's because for women, I'm assuming, is because it increases your testosterone. So if you're like testosterone up, I'm assuming it's harder to get pregnant, right? Or am I wrong in saying that?
Well, for sure. And, you know, a lot of, this is just the truth, but a lot of bodybuilders do use steroids, you know, and that's something that can really mess that up as well. And also, the lower your body fat gets, so you get lower and lower, women will stop having their menstrual cycle, which is not healthy. You know, for months at a time, you're not getting it. And right. It's like, it's definitely not healthy.
Right. I mean, the funny thing is with the steroids thing is that people have always known it's bad for you, but I feel like people still do it. Like, it's just like it's not scary enough. I don't know how to explain it. Right?
They find a way to tell themselves that it's not that bad. Like, I think that's what it is. And I'll only be on it for 6 weeks. You know, that's it. And it goes a little bit longer, and then they start using a little bit more. And it's the people that, you know, they're taking it like all year round, and it's just not good. But, you know, they have this goal in their head, and they just will do whatever it takes to get there. But it's like, at what cost? It's your body. Like, you don't want to destroy your body.
Yeah, you only have one.
Yeah. That's right.
That's new. I've never knew. Well, I guess I never put thought into it, that it wasn't information that I knew off the top of my head, or thought of how that can have an issue within your body of overdoing it or not monitoring kind of your process, I guess would be the factor, right? Like, you should, if you're going into competition, you should monitor and listen to your body of how it's going throughout.
For sure. Like, taking a rest day. I know a lot of girls, like, they won't do it. They feel really guilty. Like, I need to be doing my 60 minutes of cardio. Like, but your body is like dying. Like, it needs its rest. Rest and recovery is so important for your muscles and everything to grow, and your body to be able to work, you know? So it's all about like just listening to your body, trusting the process, and like, don't overdo it. It's not sustainable, you know?
Yeah.
Right. But I know that you also have like a booty blast class type boot camp and booty bands and all of that. I know a lot of our listeners really want to hear about this. So please tell everybody about your booty workouts.
So the booty band itself, you know, resistance bands are pretty fairly popular, but this one is so different. It's a thick kind of fabric that you put right over your knees on your legs, and you can do so many different workouts with it. I have a whole program online for it, and like, I'm not kidding, this band has transformed my butt into like, I mean, like, I've always had a butt, but like, I've never had like a booty. Like, you know, it really shapes it so well. It's crazy. Even my clients are like, oh my God, like, just one day you wake up and you're like, where did this come from? Like, it builds the side glutes, the top, it just lifts it. It's an amazing product. I love it.
What's the advantage of using the band, like when you're doing squats or when you're doing typical exercises or lunges? Like, how does it help for a person that doesn't use a band? Like, why would it help to use the band?
Because it's going to activate those glute muscles so much more. So if you're doing something that, I don't know, just something as basic as a squat or leg press or something, you put that on, it's going to target those glute muscles like double than it would without. So it just isolates those muscles. You can feel it with every rep. You're just like, oh my God, and it burns, But the good thing about it is there's so many different exercises you can do with it. You don't have to use machines or anything like that. And it's great because it's low impact. So it's better for your joints. You're not pushing too much weight. It's just, it's just more sustainable and better, I think, for your muscles and your joints and everything.
Very cool. Now, the booty boot camp, how do people get involved in that?
So my website, actually, lonajean.com. That's LONAJEAN.com. And when you purchase the booty band, you immediately are signed up to my membership. So you would sign in and you get all those workouts. And this is stuff that you can do right at home. So you don't even have to leave your house. And I mean, like I said, it's a burn. Like you got to push through it. It's really hard, but like it's good. You can feel it working. And, you go to the gym and you work out your legs and everything, and you might be sore in your butt sometimes, but you'll be sore in your legs too. But
the back of like your thigh is where you really feel it.
Right. But with the band, it's like you are just sore in your butt. Like it just isolates those muscles. And that's so hard to do when you're working out your glutes. So this band is insane.
Oh my goodness. I'm really excited. I can't wait to try it. And I'm sure that everyone who's listening that's trying to get their booty perky for the summer. Now is when you start, guys. This is when you cook in the kitchen so that you can get the results.
Yeah, and at-home workouts are like really good starter workouts, right? Like when you're trying to figure out your own pace, your own kind of setting up, right? Is that something you would suggest for people?
Oh, for sure. Because I know the gym is it's super intimidating for people nowadays too. Like you don't really know what you're doing, and it's just kind of overwhelming to get started that way. So if you are just getting back into it, or this is perfect. And it's not just an at-home workout where you're just like it's body weight. I mean, like you have actually something that you can use, and it just makes it a little more fun,
Right.
So funny. Like my mom, actually, when I first released it, she bought it, and she told me that she was like, I was at the grocery store, I was wearing it. Like she just wore it, like going shopping. And I'm like, Mom, please don't do that. She was like, well, people were asking about it. I'm like, okay, keep doing it.
Keep selling out there. Keep selling out there.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
What advice would you give anyone who's starting their own business and, putting their passion into what they want to do for the rest of their living? We know it's hard. We know it's a challenge. What advice would you give to all entrepreneurs out there, all small business owners, on something you've learned and why not to give up?
So I would say that failing, or not really failing, but like not having something work out or messing up or whatever it may be, like it's so essential. You need that because it makes you stronger, and you're that much closer to succeeding. But I think people are so afraid of starting because they don't want to fail. But like failing is part of the process. You have to. It's not just going to work out every time. So I think people getting started, like you just need to like embrace it and just know that it's all part of the journey. It's all part of the process. Like you need to fail in order to succeed. But don't be afraid of it. It doesn't mean that it's not going to work out or that you're not good enough. You're learning. Just look at it as a learning experience and just keep pushing through. But just know that it's going to happen at one point or another, like it is. But it's nothing to be afraid of. Just embrace it. It's going to make you stronger, and you'll get there. Keep pushing.
I love that, and I like the factor of knowing that not everyone's journey is the same, You said something in there about the journey and the process, but not everyone's journey is the same, but everything will work out in its own
Right.
when building out a business. I wanted to ask,
Definitely.
I wanted to ask, what are some, I'm so intrigued with bodybuilding. Like, it's just because it's such dedication that has to be, you know, put towards 100%. Like, you have to put everything. Do you have, is it called a pro card? Is that what it is? Like, there's different levels. So I don't know where you're at with that pro card. I think it's what it's called. Do you have that?
Yeah.
The process for that?
I don't have my pro card, and people ask me like, is that a goal that I have? And you know, I've never really, it's not something that I really care too much to have. I think what I enjoy the most is the journey. Like I love going on prep and challenging myself and watching my body change. And then I book a bunch of photo shoots around that time, and it's just fun. And you go to the shows and you meet a lot of girls backstage, and the whole experience is amazing. But to really get your pro card, it's like, it takes a lot. Like you have to, I don't think it means that much to me to have that card, because
Gotcha. Yeah.
you know, it's really just everything that comes with bodybuilding. I love it. And if I do, you know, happen to get it someday, it'd be awesome, but it's not really like my goal. So.
Yeah. Understood. But I think the dedication that a lot of the women, even the men, put into bodybuilding, because it's such a real competitive factor. Like, it's not like, it's so different than competing in sports, because it's just this competitive aspect of like, you have to put in work on yourself 100% over everything else, I guess, in a sense.
And it's also like scaling your body to the maximum potential humanly possible.
You're pushing your body.
Like, it's just like it's like testing the limits of how fantastic your body can really become. You know what I mean? Because it's like you're giving it you're concentrating on every individual muscle with so much scientific information behind that, so that you can make that muscle everything it's meant to be. Like, that's like, wow, like you're pushing the human physique to the maximum level. So it's like, it's impressive. You see what I'm saying? That's what it is. And it's like, I feel like a lot of people, that's not their cup of tea, but I do respect it, because I know, you know, my boyfriend's a bodybuilder. I know people that bodybuild, so I understand what it takes. Like, it's like a big deal. So I shout out to you as a girl. I think it's hard. And also, your abs are dope. So it's like, that is super hard to have abs like that. Like, that takes, you're not eating a lot of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it takes time for you to get to the point that that's what your abs look like. So it's like, awesome.
Right.
Yeah.
It is super hard. It is cool though, because it's like you're manipulating the way that your body looks. So like, for example, for me, like, I don't really work out my biceps anymore. That's something that, like, they're kind of already there. So I kind of maintain them. I know what I have to work on. And it's not like I look at myself, I'm like, oh, I'm not good enough. It's like, okay, I need to work my hamstrings. I need to work on this. Like, you look at your body so much differently.
Yeah.
You're just like shaping it and molding it, and you know what you have to do. It's awesome. It's a cool journey, and it's hard as hell, but it's really cool.
Yeah, but the reward is amazing. You know what I mean? Like, it's amazing. It's an amazing reward. And you do your photo shoots and whatever. Like the competition gets you where you need to get, and then you just milk it all the way, and you get as much as you can out of it, which is amazing. That's really awesome.
Right. Yeah. Waking up that morning of the show and just seeing your body, like, because you drop water overnight and there's the whole like process there, but you're just looking at yourself like, oh my God. Like, I remember my first show, my family was there, and I was like, look at my abs, like, look at this six pack, like, touch them. It was just so cool. It's really exciting.
That sounds awesome. That sounds amazing. It really does. And we're really happy for you, and we hope that you continue doing what you're doing. Your energy is felt through the screen. I'm not sure if people watching from YouTube right now can see it, but I can tell your energy is super, super dedicated to what you stand for, and that's amazing. Please make sure to tell everybody how to follow you, how to get your band, how to get the booty workouts, and all that good stuff.
So you can go right to lonajean.com. So again, it's LONAJEAN.com. and that's where you can get the band and the whole program and everything. And you can follow me on Instagram. That's where I post a lot of my stuff. And I do a lot of booty band workouts on there too. So just to switch it up from what you get in your membership site. But it's Lona, Lona _Jean, JEAN. So that's where I post a lot of my stuff on Instagram. And then also my Facebook business page, which is Lona Jean Be Alive. So you can follow me on there too. I post workouts all the time. So if you guys need some workouts, some booty workouts.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being an amazing guest, and
Yes,
thank you for sharing your story. That was awesome.
Of course. Thank you guys. Thank you guys so much for having me. Great questions too. I love answering every single one of them.
Of course. All right. And now we're going to give you I like this segment, by the way, our recommendations of the week. And I'm going to work on a jingle for y'all. We're going to get hyped about every recommendation we give every week.
You did it with Little Harmony last time, so I'm not sure if you're sticking with that. Recommendations.
We sound like Broad City. If you watch it, they just be making up songs. So, recommendations of the week. Do you want to go ahead and give us yours, Diana?
Yeah, absolutely. Mine is pretty cash, guys. I actually binge watched the show on Netflix called Russian Doll.
Oh.
Really good. It was with the girl Natasha Lyonne, that is from Orange is the New Black, Nikki, the lesbian with the shaggy hair. That's really cool. So she actually is the main character in the show. It's awesome. I really liked it. And I think that aside from being entertaining, I also liked, for the female culture, what I like about it is that it kind of teaches a different side of a different type of female. And when you watch it, you're gonna know what I mean. Like, she's like a software engineer and she like does coding for video games. You know, it's like she's like a different type of girl from what we are normally average. So yeah, the show's pretty cool. You know, she's like a really interesting character. As you know, she's funny. She was even back in the day from American Pie.
Yes, that's where she's. Yes.
Yeah, so she's been around for a minute in our, you know, pop culture movies world. So it's cool to see that she's still doing her own thing after we all know Orange is the New Black is about to be the final season. But yeah, it was really cool, and it's kind of like Groundhog Day for those of you who see that old school movie. It kind of has
some throwbacks keep mentioned in here.
We are dropping movies on this episode, right?
We're showing our age in some of these movies.
Right, exactly. So that's my recommendation, guys. Russian Doll on Netflix.
And to continue with the recommendation of Netflix, and I think Netflix has just taken over our entire livelihood, and they're doing original content, which makes it interesting because it's not how they started. But I digress. I watched the recent documentary called Remastered, The Two Killings of Sam Cooke. Sam Cooke was a singer in the early 60s, late 60s. It was a very intriguing and interesting story. Unfortunately, very sad ending. And it gives you kind of this whole perspective of how someone's life can be so beautiful, so moving. They want to do things right by people. They want to be, you know, a strength, and they want to push people along. And how moments within your life or like little decisions can completely change and transfer your final last days and how you're looked upon. So Sam Cooke is an amazing singer. If you haven't heard the song, A Change Is Gonna Come, which is usually used in really great, beautiful settings. And it's a very strong song that makes you feel really good or like really hopeful of changes and things that are going to come. And his voice is incredible in that song. So it's definitely a documentary worth to sitting down and watching, soaking in, especially if you're a lover of music. This is a great detailed short, what's it called?
Documentary?
Documentary, that's the word. Yeah. Documentary on his life, and who knows who he could have been, because he wasn't a major star just yet. He was on the brink of a major star. Right. So beautiful, beautiful.
Those stories always stand out. The ones that you're like, what if we would have seen them for a little longer? Yeah.
Just 2 more years would have been a full-on trajectory for
Right.
him. So, and that happens to a lot of artists where it's just like, man, 3 more months and you would have been out of here.
Yeah, this is like so much you don't even want to bring it up because it's like it's actually kind of sad. You know what I'm saying?
It's extremely sad. So that is a wonderful documentary to watch if you're a music buff like I am.
Yeah, very cool. Awesome recommendation. We really appreciate it. Also, want to make sure to say thank you to everyone who has supported the podcast thus far. We really appreciate even a few emails that we've gotten for some people being interested in being in the podcast. That's really awesome.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah, very cool. We have even better guests, cooler conversations, and it's going to be a great upward growth. We appreciate everyone who's been on this season thus far and everybody who's going to be on the season for the rest of the year. Make sure to email us at freshmondayspodcast@gmail.com.
Yes, and don't forget to follow me at Love Marley, LUVMARLEY _ on Instagram and all other social media platforms you choose. And don't forget to follow Diana at...
Yes, please follow me, my personal page at IamDianaC_. And please follow my business page at Show Me Productions on Instagram and Show Me Productions on Facebook. That is for anybody who's looking to collaborate, continue hosting networking events like power networking and women's empowerment events. I am open and I am down. Once again, that's showmeproductions.com, Show Me Productions on Instagram, Show Me Productions on Facebook. And I Am Diana C is my personal one. And make sure to follow Fresh Mondays Podcast on Instagram. Yes. We try to keep you guys up to date. We appreciate all the following. We appreciate all the likes, but do not forget to repost when the new episodes do come out.
Yes. Thank you guys for listening and have a great and beautiful Fresh Monday.